Well, hello, everybody. It is none other than Joshua Lennox, your CEO, your Chief Encouragement Officer, live here on the Inspiration Station. It is Friday, July the 17th, 2026, y'all. We are beyond and past the middle of this month already. I hope that everything has been going absolutely amazing for you guys as you all progress through this week. You've progressed through this week and also going into your weekend. As I always say, you have overcome what has tried to come over you. There is nothing that's been able to stop you, hinder you, or block you from doing the things that you need to do and also becoming who you need to become. Y'all, I want to jump right in. It's your Friday. I want to get you right on back out in your day. Just a little quick nugget. I don't want to hold you too long. I'm going to be before you long, like a Baptist preacher says. But as you guys are coming in, please let me know how you're doing. Let me know how things are progressing, how things are going well for you, how you're changing, and you're noticing new things about yourself that maybe you hadn't noticed before. Again, y'all know what we're here to do. We're here to be open, honest, and vulnerable. We're here to be inspirations, not just to each other, but also to ourselves. And we're making sure we're not neglecting who we are or our own relationship to ourselves. So, y'all, I want to jump right into it. The title of today is just When the Process Doesn't Match the Promise. Anybody got a promise? Y'all know what a promise is? That means like it's a vow, something that's got to happen, or something that you are wanting. We talk about people. Sometimes we make a promise to do something or not do something again, venture out into something. It's almost like your word is your bond. It's something that absolutely has to happen. When we talk about even a promise from the Lord, he does not lie. He does not lie. If he spoke something over your life, if he showed you something, he's not a man that he shall lie, nor the son of man that shall repent. Also, if he sends out his word to do something, it's going to accomplish what he sends it to do. It's yes and amen. Those are his promises. That's his word. If he told you he's going to do something, he's going to do it. But sometimes we don't know what the process is going to look like. So sometimes the process does not match the promise. We see the outcome of some things and we're like, okay, well, I know how this is going to be. So my question to you is, have you ever been so focused on how you thought something would happen that you almost missed the fact that it actually did happen? Sometimes we're in the middle of something, we're in the midst of something, we pray for something, we've been actually looking around to see if things are aligning. We're looking at every small detail and we overlook it. We're like, wait a minute. It's already happened. I might be in an answered prayer. I'm in what God said. I'm in what I've dreamed about, what I've been working towards, and I might not be paying attention to it because you know what? I didn't know it would happen this way. I didn't know it would look this way. And also, I didn't know how I would get to where I'm going to go because, sometimes we have our own preconceived notions and our own plans and thinking we know exactly what something's going to look like. We could know the outcome. You could be somebody who goes to the gym every day and you know that you want to have your body snatched and ripped and all that stuff, but you don't realize the process it might take for you because you're having to learn your diet. You're having to get enough rest. You're having to learn what kind of program or training you need to really gonna that you need to do in able to achieve the results that you want. You know what you want to look like, but you don't always know what time or the time frame or the timeline is going to take you to get there, or also what types of things are being built in you with your discipline or consistency to get you there. So, main point I want to drive home is that we often become attached to the process that we've imagined, just with the things that we thought, the things we've come up with. But God is committed to the promise that He's spoken. He's already spoken. He's already known our life. He's already written that thing out. He's just watching us walk through it. But the destination may remain the same even when the route changes. The destination may remain the same, but the route changes. I mentioned last week, sometimes we could be going somewhere familiar where we know how to get there, but it might be a detour. We're still headed to the same place, but we might have to go a different route because there might be some things that we're going to be hindered by, or some things that might be stumbling blocks, things in our way, or there might need to be another. Maybe if you're driving to the same place you're used to, but maybe this is an alternate route to show you something different, show you a faster route, show you a different. Maybe you need to go. Maybe the Lord wants you to go this way because He wants you to see some houses or see something. You just never know why we have actually rerouted, but we're going to get to the same place. Three quick points, y'all, and I'm kicking you out. I promise you. First thing is that we fall in love with the method. That means how it's going to get done. So sometimes we create our own timelines. You just know, okay, it's going to happen at this time, on this day, this month, and it's nothing wrong with having objectives and setting goals. Just be okay with knowing that you might have to pivot based on what you've already been shown or what you have a desire to see or what you created in your mind to come to pass for you. We also imagine specific people being in our lives. We just know such and such is going to be there, or I'm going to come into this type of connection, and those things can happen. But Be okay with sometimes that certain people have to fall away, or certain people no longer have certain access to you. And sometimes people say, well, when I make it, or when I get to this big break, I'm gonna do this for this person. They're gonna be beside me, this person's gonna be beside me, or maybe not. But see, in your mind, you've already told yourself this is exactly how it's gonna happen. But what if that's not the case? Also, we picture exact opportunities. You know exactly how that door is going to open. You know exactly how that platform is going to be created. You know exactly how that business is going to come to pass because you got the blueprint. You've written everything out. You know exactly how your family is going to look. You know what that marriage is going to look like. You know what your dating life is going to look like. But what if those things are actually altered? What if it's not going to look like you thought it was going to be, but you're going to get to that outcome? It's just going to look different than you perceived it to be or what you imagined or created in your mind for it to be. Also, then, you know what? Life then rewrites that script. As we talked about a movie script, you know, God has seen it. He already knows what's coming in each scene of our movie, of our life. We don't. But also, we can have a plan. But make sure you submit that thing to God and let Him establish your steps. He establishes your steps in those plans that even though you submit those to Him, just be submissive to Him to know, not my will, but your will be done, because He knows what's best. So sometimes that thing with that flip the script. That's what happens. He'll flip that script, and you be like, "Wait a minute! I thought it was supposed to be like this, guy. But remember, God, you showed me in a dream, and you told me this, and this time, just as much as He told Abraham and Sarah, they're going to have a baby even in old age. Well, they got tired of waiting. So, of course, they hollered at Hagar really quick to say, okay, let's make this happen. So let's help God bring this to pass, even though He still brought the promise to pass for them. He just did it in a way that they weren't comfortable with. They knew He was going to bring forth the baby for Sarah to have even in old age, but they didn't know the timeline. They didn't know who the people who will be around. You know, they didn't know what things would exactly look like. They didn't know the step by step. God's not going to give us a step by step. We're not a cake box. He's not, we don't have all of these ingredients. We might have ingredients, but we're not something that's going to be a step by step process, because then we wouldn't trust Him. We wouldn't rely on Him. We wouldn't depend on Him. So, thinking in that, I want you to take away that disappointment often comes from unmet expectations about the process, not necessarily the promise. The promise is going to happen, it's going to be there, but you may have set expectations on knowing exactly how you think it's going to unfold, and then you become negative, or you feel like those expectations have brought on those, unrealistic expectations. Sometimes it brings on disappointment. But it's like, well, you never knew how it was going to come to pass anyway. You just knew what was the outcome. You knew what you were going towards, what that goal was, what that objective is. But it doesn't mean that you're not going to attain it. You just don't know what the process is going to look like. And you don't know the process that's happening in you to develop, that's developing you to withstand and endure and uphold the thing that God has promised you. Second point, y'all, the process is producing more than the outcome. Sometimes we're so outcome driven, we just know what we want, we know what we're after, you know, that's all you're thinking about. And you don't even think about the steps it's going to take to get you there. Sometimes that's why we encounter delays. What we feel, and then you get disappointed, you get a little downtrodden, but delays build character, they increase your wisdom, they develop your resilience. That means that when things change, you're like, okay, I can adapt to this. I'm not going to crumble. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to lose heart, even though I might have a moment in feeling those things. But I'm going to continue to keep going and know that I'm still after what I'm looking for. I'm still after what the promise is. I'm still after the very thing that I have an objective for. I just have to know it's okay that some things might shift for me. Also, it prepares you to sustain what you're asking for. You're asking for things that you might not even be developed enough to hold yet. That you might not be. And let me say this too. I think I said this yesterday on my reel, that sometimes the very thing that you're waiting on or you're preparing for is also preparing to receive you. So it's not always this thing of thinking like, okay, well, maybe I'm delayed because it's something I'm doing wrong, something I've missed a step or something like that. It may be that God is preparing that very promise, the thing that's on the other side, that other party of that, whether there's people, places, things, or ideas, He's preparing that other side to receive you. And you're just having to build, maybe your character is being built, maybe your patience is being built, maybe your endurance is being built, maybe your trust is being built, maybe your faith is being built. But as you are standing in this process, be open to knowing that even if it's a delay, it must be purposeful. It must be productive for me. It must be fruitful for me. Takeaway with that is that the process isn't punishment. It's preparation. It's not punishment if things don't go exactly how you want them to go. You almost want to look back sometimes and say, thank God it didn't go how I wanted it to go, because I would have sabotaged it. I would have ruined it. I would have been a person who wasn't able to and appreciate it. I wouldn't have had gratitude for it. I wouldn't have had the capacity to actually carry the very thing that God wanted to bless me with. And that could be anything that God has promised you. I mean, anything and everything you can think about that God has actually told you and shared with you. Just like I talked about Abraham and Sarah, were they ready to have a child? God knew they were, but maybe it's something in them in that time span that he was working on inside of them so that they could be prepared for Isaac when he came. Even though they had Ishmael through Hagar, he still promised them what he said, and he did exactly what he said he was going to do. It's just that were they able to be the parents that in the capacity, have the capacity to do that if God would have given them the child any sooner. Last point is don't miss the promise because it came in different packaging. Don't miss the promise because it came in different packaging. We always think things are going to look exactly how we want them to look. I think if you guys remember back maybe last month when I talked about how I walked right past my package like 2 or 3 times, my Amazon package, because it was in a brown paper bag. And I was like, I'm looking for a box. I'm looking for what I'm used to. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm looking for what I'm used to. However, it was exactly what I ordered. It's exactly what I wanted, but it was packaged totally different. So sometimes our blessings will arrive through a different job. You may have said, God, I want you to take me higher in my career. I want this opportunity here, this, that, and the other. He might give you a job and you're like, well, wait a minute, hold on. I don't remember asking specifically for this, but it'd be exactly what you needed. Maybe it's a different relationship. Maybe you thought that that person was going to be your forever, always, or whatnot. And it turned out, okay, wait a minute. You thought one thing, but maybe you didn't see some things that were behind the curtain that God did. And he said, no, 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 no. You're going to have the relationship, the marriage or whatever I showed you, the person who you've been desiring and the type of person and the person I've been preparing you for. But it's going to be through somebody else because possibly you don't know that person that you were actually dealing with was a counterfeit. Whether that's a friendship, whether that's a partnership, whether that's somebody you're doing business with, and you like, well, yeah, I want somebody who's going to be this, and this is who I think that this person is. However, God is like, I'm going to give you exactly what you asked for, but it's not in that person or not in that entity, not in that organization. It might be a different city. It might be a different opportunity. What I'm saying is that it's still the answer. You just don't recognize the wrapping paper. You still will get what you asked for. It just might not look how you thought it was. It might not be presented how you thought it was. It might not have all the bells and whistles that you thought it would be, but it's exactly what you asked God for. The thing with this is that different doesn't mean wrong. Different doesn't mean wrong. It just means it's different and it's different than you thought. Because sometimes we think we know so much and God be like, let me kind of step in right here. Trust me on this one. I know you got your plan. I know whatever, but I know sometimes God also will give us the things that we wanted so bad just to let us know we didn't need it. As I close, I told you I was going to be quick. My last, just to close with this, is that I want you to think from this day and all the way for the rest of this month, and even in your life, let this be a practice, but I want you to just think and ask yourself this. Am I grieving the process I imagined while overlooking the blessing that's actually unfolding? Because sometimes we're waiting for God to do what he's already done, just not in the way we expected. I'll say sometimes there have been things that I know I'm not the only one who has to continue to work on. I'm a very patient person, but I have impatient moments where I'm wanting certain things to happen a certain way in a certain time. I'm like, okay, what are we waiting on? Let's go. And I'm like, God's like, just trust me. Hold on. I'm like, I'll trust you. Hold on, God. Wait a minute. And it's like, what else do we need to do to make this thing happen? And it's like, okay, Josh, there's some things you don't know about that I do as to why you're not ready for that thing yet. Or I'm doing something in you. You waiting for the outcome, and I'm trying to do something on the income, the inside. I like that. So yeah, I'm doing something on the income, things that I'm bringing to you, but I'm working on the inside. It might not be the external. So again, I want to say, am I grieving the process that I imagined while overlooking the blessing that's actually unfolding? Last thing, y'all, and I'm kicking you out. I told y'all it's gonna be quick. I know y'all are like, Josh, don't leave me. I'm leaving. You're getting kicked out. I love y'all though. The last thing I want to say is don't confuse a different route with the wrong destination. Don't confuse a different route with the wrong destination, because sometimes the path changes so the person arriving at the promise has changed too. Don't confuse a different route with a wrong destination. sometimes the path changes. So the person arriving at the promise has changed too. Sometimes it's not all about what we're on our way to or what we're ready to receive. It's about who we are becoming in the process of that. When we arrive at the promise or at that new life of ours, the new things we're going to have, the desired outcome, even if it looks different. What have we changed into? How have we been molded into properly receiving what we're headed towards? So y'all, I love you with the love like never you that you've never known before. I just want to continue to encourage you guys to just to when the process doesn't match the promise, just know that you're still right on target and be okay when things shift and change and have in mind, I'm still gonna get to what I asked for. I just didn't know it was gonna look like this. Just like when you take that GPS, you could be going out of town or something, all of a sudden it says, all right, get off at this exit and this, and it's like, hold on. We're supposed to stay on the interstate the whole time. That's what the directions said before we left the house. Why are we getting off on this side road? It's like there's some things that you might be protected from at the moment as to take you a different route. And also, there might be some things that God needs you to see, needs you to have exposure to before you get to what He's promised you. So be patient. I know sometimes that can be one of those very fruit of the Spirit that we all kind of struggle with, but you're a patient person and you're a person who's resilient. You're a person who's open and you're a patient who's trusting God to know that He knows absolutely what's best for you on your way to this promise of yours. Because you got several promises He's made to you, several promises He's given you. There's so many in the Bible, and there's some specific things in your life He's shown you, and you're going to get there. You're going to get to exactly what He said. You just got to trust Him in knowing that the process might have a few pivots before you get to the promise. The process might have a few pivots before you get to the promise. So I love you guys. Please share, continue to like, continue to subscribe. We're under some changes. And again, even with this, with the inspiration station, there's some pivots happening that I didn't foresee coming. I thought things would continue to be as they were as when they started and had gone for over a year. Now, a year and a half, and we passed the half mark, year and a half mark. But there's some pivots in this. And also, there's something for me to learn in this. There's something for me to gain in this, just like there are things in your life that you're doing right now. So I love y'all. Please spread love now more than ever. I will see you next week at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the Inspiration Station. Is my name is the name changing? Is that a pivot, Lord? But again, I love you guys. You've always been great. You're just getting better and you have finally embraced it. So I will talk to y'all. Don't forget, y'all, in the process, there will be pivots to get to the promise. I love you. Talk to you soon. Bye.